We are alive. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I should have checked this beforehand. My audio's not coming through. Yeah. Yeah, always. Always.
Well, welcome to OLIP, Our Life and Problems.
Yep, I fixed it. It just needed, you know how OBS is funny sometimes, and it's like you just gotta I don't know if you guys have to deal with this, but sometimes you just have to re-click on the audio source and it just fixes itself kind of thing. So
Weird OBS moment.
yeah, it's just one of them things. Ain't no thing but a chicken wang. But anyways, it's been an exciting week for gamers in general, right? But before we get to all that, Justin, are you still playing Baldur's Gate or what?
I am, and that game pisses me off so fucking much, dude. Oh my god, it makes me mad to play it.
Why?
So me and Andrea started a game, and we've been trying to make that our primary playthrough of the game.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, Larian learned nothing about how to do a better co-op game from Divinity. Like, they have zero co-op improvements over that at all. Every time me or Andrea gets into a dialogue with someone, the other person has no idea what's happening unless they're like, hey, I am in a dialogue right now, you should look at it. There's no way for you to be indicated. There's not a little ping, they're in a dialogue, do you want to join? You can't just why isn't there an option to just automatically be watching the dialogue and opt out if you want to? It's so stupid.
I don't know, you may not have noticed this. There is the option, there's the little ear that shows up above the portrait of the characters that are in dialogue.
Yes.
So, there is that.
But if I'm doing my own thing and I'm not paying attention to that, it's very easy to miss.
It is. No, I agree. But I've used it a couple times, so I'll be like, oh, look, Justin's talking to somebody when we were playing, kind of thing. So
yeah. I love being able to jump in there and you get to see the other person's choices and stuff, but it's really annoying missing that kind of thing. And then the other thing that really annoys me is the game's just got a lot of fucking stupid little bugs that piss me off. So we were playing, and minor spoilers, Lae'zel killed my character.
What?
Because she was like, listen, we've got these worms in our heads. I'm going to kill you. Then I'm going to kill all these other people here, and then I'm going to kill myself. And I was like, all right, do it. And she killed me.
Right.
And then, so that was at the beginning of a long rest. So go to bed, long rest, boom, this cutscene happened.
Right.
And me and Andrew were like, holy shit, that was crazy. I hope I'll be able to be resurrected.
Yeah.
Next morning, my character's dead. Andrea resurrects me. We think, okay, that's fine. I talked to Lae'zel to see is there going to be a fun dialogue?
Right.
She acts like nothing happened. Okay, that's weird, but we go on our way and we think everything's fine. And we'd been using Karlach and Shadowheart as our companions in the party.
Yeah.
And then there came a point where we were like, oh, we want Lae'zel for this. Go to talk to her. We notice in the camp she doesn't even have her tent anymore. Oh, that's weird. Talk to her, tell her to join the party. She says okay, but she doesn't join the party. I tried it, Andrew tried it. Wasn't working. We look at the mini map. She's not even a green icon anymore. She's a yellow icon. We're just like, what the fuck? So I Google it, and I find this thread on Reddit that is the exact same problem I'm having. Yeah. And someone is like, did you guys do that thing where Lae'zel kills you and then you resurrect? Yes. Literally everybody yes, I did do that. Wow, this is just a really big bug that Larian really needs to fix. So we don't have access to Lae'zel as a party member or any of the items on her until they patch it, presumably.
That is insane. How far in the game are you? How far in the game are you?
Not super far. We're just going through the Underdark in Act 1 right now.
So this is crazy. It has to be connected to how many long rests you've done then. Or maybe it's connected to your likable meter kind of thing.
Great, as far as triggering the scenes.
Yeah, just because I have only played I think 2 hours in the past week. Unfortunately, it makes me cry. Okay, I can't. Yeah, it does. It says last 2 weeks, 30 hours. That was all like in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
But so I've basically only explored the Underdark at this point, and she's in my party because I've basically taken over like the rogue type slot. And
okay, so Astarion's out.
Yeah, so Astarion's out. I have Lizelle, Shadowheart, and then Gale for my party. And I'll tell you what, I don't know how far you've gotten in the Underdark, but there's a bunch of cool stuff down there, and there's some really fucking hard fights. Like, you're gonna need to be creative in these fights.
Me and Andrea ran into these Duergar that we ended up fighting, and they were higher level than us, and we were like, did we just fuck up?
Was it?
And like the fight started off really bad, and Andrew was like, should we just reset? And I was like, well, let's play it out. And we ended up just having this huge comeback throughout the battle and won, and it was very satisfying.
Was it in the village with the boat?
Yes.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. I did that fight. Did you have the extra companion that you can get?
No, we didn't find him until after that fight, but I really hope that we can like take him with us across the boatway, maybe.
Okay, so you know who I'm talking about? The extra companion, the mushroom, the spore guy?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you how this plays out if you would have found him before. Because he also asked you to kill the Dwegar, right?
Right.
You kill the Dwegar, and then he's like, hey, go kill the other mushroom king guy, basically.
Oh, because he wants to be the king?
Yeah, because he wants to be the king.
That's his whole backstory.
Or I'm gonna kill you, kind of thing is what he does.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I'm like, bro, I don't even know you that well. Like, fuck you. And so what ended up happening is I had ran around, and I don't know if you found the what are they called? Hook horrors?
Yes.
Okay, so I had a hook horror as his companion, right? Because he can raise the dead through like the fumble thing.
Yeah, he's got the spore.
So
magic,
now all of a sudden I'm fighting this motherfucker after fighting these Dwegar, which beat my ass, right?
Which whoop your ass.
Yeah, I'm fighting him and this hook horror. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, so I had to restart all that, and then like I basically like, since you have control of those two because they're in your party, I basically like threw them out there. Let them get fucking annihilated, like whittled down their health. So when he decided to turn on me, I was like, "Fuck you, bitch!" But yeah, man, it's crazy.
That's funny.
It's good time. But I'm down there. Did you go on the boat?
Not yet. No, I think that's the next thing.
When you go across the boat, on the boat, that's where there's like two. I've only done one of them. I've heard about the other one. There's two really hard fights across the boat.
Okay.
So just be creative.
I'll prepare.
Yeah, be creative. Just be ready. Anyways, we've been talking a lot. Tim, are you able to jump in on what you've been playing, or have you just been waiting for Armored Core, which I think came out tomorrow?
No, Armored Core comes out on Friday. I have been playing also Baldur's Gate, and I actually rolled a new character because I had somebody come to my camp that I was like super excited to be like, oh, cool, a new friend at the camp. This will be awesome. And then we went to sleep, and my character woke up covered in her blood. And I was like, I think I'm just gonna. Oh,
that's right. You're playing the dark.
Yeah,
whatever.
I was playing the Dark Urge because I wasn't paying attention that close when I created my character. I was like, you know what? No, we're gonna have a good guy character. So I re-rolled a character to, and I already it took me a fifth of the time on this second playthrough to pass where I was, because now I kind of knew where things were. I wasn't looking for crap, just wandering around. So I'm now playing a half elf monk, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And it's pretty damn good. I just had this encounter where I was going kind of exploring, and I wandered into a cave, and we wound up fighting these I forget what they are, the hyena guys. What the hell are
the
they? Gnolls. Yeah, we wound up with a whole cave of fucking gnolls as they were charging these guys that were throwing Molotov cocktails at them in Alchemist fire.
That's
my god. That was a super hard fight. I literally I had one of them. They had a priest guy run up to us. I put we snuck around the side, and we had the high ground, and one of them climbed up this ladder, and I pushed him down the hole.
Yes.
Shove is the fucking best thing.
It was so great. There are some things that do kind of like Justin was saying that I notice from time to time that I'm like, okay, but I'm having so much fun with the game. I'm really digging it, and so it's gonna suck when Friday comes and Armored Core comes out, and I'm gonna have to split my time between those. I was like, I'm gonna have to finish Armored Core before that. It's not gonna happen because especially, yeah.
I have good news for you.
What?
Armored Core releases tomorrow at 5 on PC.
What? No, it's
I'm looking at the launch release like map. CT.
I still haven't got my damn
PC August 24th, 5 p.m. CT. If you have it on console, it's 11.
Okay, well, I that sucks actually because I'm gonna be at work and I'm not gonna be able to play it. I close tomorrow, so I'm gonna. But at least
you can play it as soon as you get home.
I really hope. I still haven't been able. No, I haven't been able to preload anything yet. So this sucks. Like Humble, the one thing about pre-ordering through Humble is I do not consistently get my my codes ahead of time, so I can't preload the game.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, it does come out. So yeah, I'm looking at this Eastern time. It comes out August 25th, like midnight. So it's just depending on where you're at in the world, you do get to start playing it on the 24th. So fucking hang
on, wait. I thought you said 5 o'clock. That doesn't.
I did. I'm just telling you what their Armored Core launch date and start times.
That can't mean
CT.
Central Time.
CT. Technically Central is CST. But CT, it says 5 p.m. So, it's got Eastern, it's got ET, CT, MT, and PT. The closest thing to CST is CT. So that's what I'm rolling with. So
yeah, that seems strange that it would be midnight Eastern and then.
My dude, CST, it's 10 p.m. For some reason, we're 2 hours ahead though.
It releases on PC on August 24th Eastern at 6 p.m. It's console that releases August 25th at midnight local time.
I
don't know why.
This
is weirdly staggered.
CST, hang on. I don't know what CT is because I'm not sure what that is. CST, which I believe is us, 4 p.m. tomorrow. What is CT then? What is COT? This is according to Google. I don't understand.
Our Life in Pixels, where we argue about what time zones there are in America.
Time zones work.
Anyways, either way, it comes out tomorrow.
There should be. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Either way, it comes out for some places in the U.S. tomorrow. So as early, if you're on the West Coast, it comes out as early as 3 in the afternoon. So here's to you.
Nice and early.
Mm-hmm. Anyways. I'm glad we've all been having fun with Baldur's Gate. Before we, Justin, are you planning on playing Starfield or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not buying it like you guys. I'm just gonna play it on Game Pass. But yeah.
No, I didn't buy it. I bought the $30 upgrade through Game Pass so I can play it early.
What's the upgrade?
So you can. All right. So this is
early access or what?
No. This is the loophole. Because you're going to get Starfield, the base game, free through Game Pass, right? Mm-hmm. But you can buy the premium edition upgrade for $30, and then you would technically still have the premium edition. So I will be playing it next Friday.
Huh?
Yeah,
what
it's a weird.
It's
the pre-order for the DLC. And the 5 days early access and a few other things. It's basically buying a deluxe edition. I don't know I can't remember if it's called premium or deluxe or whatever, but but yeah, it was that weird one that you can pre-order a DLC right out the gate, basically.
Right.
But I got it for the 5 days early access because it's right over Labor Day weekend. Like, it's perfect.
Sure. It's oh man, planned that.
Yeah, I have a 4-day personally. I know you work over the weekend, Justin, so it's a little bit more inconvenient for you, but like, I have Friday, I have the 1st off and the 4th off. So I was like, yes. And my mother-in-law and all of them are going to be here to distract my wife and children. So I'm just like, you guys go do things. I will play Starfield. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the plan. At least that's how I'm hoping this is going to play out, because that's what makes the most sense. If I'm getting the base game through Game Pass, then if I buy the premium edition upgrade, I should get it, is what I'm crossing my fingers for. So if not, I will be dropping another $70 that day probably. Anyways, but yeah, what was I gonna say? Speaking of Starfield, controversy, of course, very dumb controversy. Did you guys see the old Warcraft? It's World of Warcraft dev come out and say that because the main menu for Starfield is very plain. It's very, honestly, it's kind of Halo-esque in my opinion. It doesn't have the Pillar of Autumn thing, but it's very blue and spacey and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, a guy came out and basically said that either this team didn't care about the game, and so they just kind of threw whatever together for a main menu, or they were rushed, or something else. I don't know. Basically, a bunch of just slander over a fucking start menu.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at it right now, and it's like I get it. It's the hugeness of space kind of vibe, Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Well, and then I think Justin and I were talking about this before the show. I was watching people talk about this because I don't have anything better to do with my day apparently other than watch people argue over a fucking start menu. But somebody commented on a YouTube video, and whoever this was, and there's probably multiple people that have done this, but this is a fantastic point. Has he never seen Skyrim's start menu?
Oh yeah,
it's a black
same thing.
It's literally a black screen with a logo. With continue and new game and settings. Actually, you know what? It didn't even have fucking settings. You had to do the settings before you boot the game. So what? It's just a weird thing that was going around the internet.
Strange thing that just got a lot of attention.
It did. I don't know, man. Well, once again, I think the only reason why it got a lot of attention because one, it came from a former game dev, and then two, Pete Hines came out and was like, "Hey, fuck you for questioning my team's passion about this game."
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? He was just like, "Don't you question?" He was basically saying
rude.
"Don't you question my people? Like, what the hell?" He's like, "One, this is super unprofessional for one dev to another, right? Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
And two, we've had this start menu for literally years. If you don't like it, fuck off. Is really what he was saying. Which I thought was like, "Hey, Pete, you go get him, bud." So,
yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
I love Pete.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Pete liked our tweets a couple of times.
Oh, did he?
Thanks, Pete.
Well, Pete, if you ever listen to this, you get him, bud. You fucking slap them down.
Yeah, it's such a stupid thing. You're going to look at this start screen for 2 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
Who cares?
You're going to be like, I'm trying to get in the game. I'm trying to get in the game. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't understand. Other thing about Starfield, before we go over the Gamescom piece, which, Tim, you're going to have to carry us because I had car issues today. It's so hot here. My fucking car overheated today, and it's just... Anyways. But I was going to say, the Starfield achievement list has leaked. So be careful on the interwebs if you don't want to see that kind of stuff. It's kind of an announcement for anybody who decides to listen to this. So...
Yeah, sometimes it's really fun just playing the game and then an achievement pops up and you're like, I got an achievement for that? That's
Dude,
awesome. That's so dumb.
You know what there has to be an achievement for? Killing the Heroes fan or whatever.
Oh, for sure,
There
dude.
has to be a fucking achievement. Oh my god. I kind of
your heroes.
Yeah. Oh, look, you're so creative, Justin. That's fucking perfect, bro.
Pete? If you need somebody on the team coming up with names for achievements,
you need a brainstorming guy. You need that guy. Yeah. I got you. I'm an idea guy. That's fantastic because honestly, there's a part of me who just wants to make a shit character to get that guy real quick, get on a ship, put that motherfucker in the airlock, and just shoot him out into space. Just
that'll be a speedrunning category. The fastest time for killing that guy.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm about to go off the rails a little bit here. Did you hear about the speedrunning category for Baldur's Gate?
I feel like I saw something about this. I can't remember.
I'm sure you did. It was like fastest to have sex with one of the other characters.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, somebody did it in 8 minutes.
8 minutes
with Lizelle of all characters.
Lizelle?
Yes.
That's shocking.
Yeah, I know.
She's like the meanest.
Yeah, well, I've heard that if you romance her, basically, she like forgets a lot of like. I don't know. I haven't done this, right, but she seems to forget like a lot of what makes her character like different. You know how she's like very stoic and like traditional and all the other kind of stuff. Yeah, all that shit goes out the window. She just loves you. You know what I mean? Like she just kind of leaves everything. I could be wrong, but that's just what I've heard. So
yeah, I'm really curious. I want to romance her on my main save. I also want to make a new character that's Get the Yankee and see how she reacts then.
Ooh, yeah.
If she like hates you less, you know.
I know. But, fucking Baldur's Gate, man. I know Joe could talk about that all day. But we'll get to Gamescom a little bit here. So I only saw a little bit of this. So I know kind of like the overview of what was there, but Starfield was there. And I think they had like a 16-minute dealio or something like that, like gameplay demo or something. Tim, do you know more about that? Are you with us?
Tim must be indisposed right now.
He must have gone through the airlock into space.
We can come back to that because I missed the Starfield stuff for Gamescom, so I don't really know either.
Yeah, I
saw something about like you're playing as like some miner or something. It's like separate from like the main experience. I don't know.
Yeah, it's separate from like the main game.
That's what it sounded like. Okay. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. We're a video game podcast and we didn't watch one of the biggest video game shows of the year. Unfortunate. What the hell was I gonna say? No, I know. So they had I saw like the little trailer that they put out. That was really cool. It's like the dude and he's like giving this little girl like this patch, and then like it goes through a bunch
CG.
Of dude, that thing was cool. Like that whole thing was pretty fucking cool. But outside of Starfield, we saw Wukong for the first time, I feel like, in a long time.
It's been a while, yeah. It's been a while since we got anything about Wukong.
Did you, when you saw the trailer for it, did it make you excited for it or no? Because I remember people being really excited for it when it was first announced.
Yeah, we've kind of had a lot of time to cool on Wukong.
Yeah.
But seeing it again definitely kind of reignited my interest, you know. What they showed looks really good. It looks like it'll be a really fun Souls game within this Chinese mythology, which is just really cool. It looks really good, like graphically. Yeah, man. I went on Steam and made sure it was on my wish list because it wasn't on my wish list yet.
Okay.
But I'm not like as excited for that as say Space Marine 2, but it's definitely still something that I am keeping in mind.
Did Space Marine 2 come out with a release date?
Not sure.
Let me Google it real quick.
I think
because it didn't have one yet.
I feel like
but it was supposed to be like end of this year. Yeah, it still says. So the first thing that comes up still says winter 2023. So they showed that trailer. So I don't know.
Yeah, I forget what the their little sting on the end of that preview was.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure here. Let's I'm just gonna skip to the end here. I haven't actually watched it.
Do a little sleuthing here.
Yeah, no, I don't.
That gameplay looks quite good.
Oh my god, dude, it looks
so many fucking things on.
Sorry, I was just finishing and closing up. What did I miss?
Do you want to talk about Starfield at Gamescom for us? Because we both missed it.
There was a lot of "we can't wait to show yous," which they didn't show, which kind of sucked.
Right.
And it was really cool to see. Zur was there, and he did a whole performance. That was the soundtrack. That was really really cool.
Was that the piano thing?
Yeah. For those that don't know, he did some like the Fallout soundtracks. I'm pretty sure he's done most of the Elder Scrolls soundtracks. He's really cool. He's worked with Bethesda for a long time. Really, really good composer. So that was cool to see. And then they had a live action trailer, which you could tell was going to be like what they show on TV during like commercials of football games and stuff. Like it looked pretty cool. There was a lot of, but it was a lot of marketing stuff, and it was a lot of. Todd was there, which was cool. It was cool to see Todd Howard at Gamescom for the first time, but they didn't really show much of substance. It was mostly hype building, which is fine at this point. I mean, they need to ramp up the marketing machine eventually, so that makes sense. What I will say, though, is I kept hearing how strong a presence Xbox was going to have at Gamescom, and I feel like they had a presence. They were there the whole time. There were a lot of Game Pass ads, and there were some Xbox exclusives announced, and there was not announced, kind of announced. Like, for example, like there's a port of AoE coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's cool,
that.
But there was like nothing... Yeah, there was nothing that was like, oh, this is amazing.
Well,
honestly, this is a hot take. The thing that got me the most curious about anything that was there that wasn't previously shown, because it had already been announced, was Modern Warfare 3. They showed it and they talked about how they're going to have open zone missions, basically.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, okay, so like little mini Halo Infinite or Far Cry experiences with Call of Duty. It gives you more variety in how you can approach. If you want to be stealthy, you can, gilly up and do that all the time. Or if you want to go in guns blazing, you have that option, but it's not going to force you to do that every single time, unlike it did in previous games.
Right. So they're taking the strongest thing about Call of Duty single-player campaigns and changing it.
They're changing it, but in a way that didn't sound bad. It sounded intriguing, but there's always the potential that they fuck that up. So who knows?
Yeah, there is. Shit.
But it's cool that Makarov's back, so that's going to be interesting. There's a lot of interesting things about it. They said that this is the first time in a long time that they're doing a direct story sequel, which I guess you could say that Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 were not direct story sequels, but they're pretty damn close. So I was like, okay, that seemed like an odd way to phrase it. But for the most part, they don't do direct sequels anymore. So that's cool that they're doing that. And Sledgehammer's working with Infinity Ward on the game instead of doing it separate. So I think that'll help with cohesion.
Yeah.
But that was the thing about the whole showcase, other than Black Myth, that I thought was the most interesting. Gamescom, it was I was very whelmed by it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. There was nothing that left me going like jaw dropping, because almost everything that was shown is stuff that was already announced. So that's not a bad thing. It just was very much like, when you hear Xbox is going to have a super strong presence there, you're hoping to see a Hellblade or
Fable,
Avowed, Fable.
I would have liked seeing more Avowed, honestly.
Right, you'd like to see something from one of their first parties that's maybe not announced get shadow dropped, or some teaser, some sort of marketing thing. But I guess we still have the Game Awards for that. So
yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
the announcement machine, the Game Awards.
Yeah, are we? What are we? 2 months out? Was it November?
Or is it January? Don't they do it in December? No, it's not January. I'm pretty sure it's December. They usually do it.
Yeah,
I want to say it's like December 7th, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember. I am sitting here as you're describing all this, watching this preview of fucking Space Brain 2. Bro, this looks fucking
I haven't
amazing.
seen that yet.
Dude, it looks fantastic.
I'm super set. As soon as I saw that Saber and Focus Home were announcing a game there, I was like, oh, are they going to show up Space Marine? And then it was like, no, here's fucking... I forget what it was. I think it was like The Crew Like they're doing another crew game, and
yeah, I think I saw that.
Saber on it. I was like, oh,
weird.
That's cool. Or no, it was not the crew. It was Mud Runners.
Yeah,
Mud Runners. I was like, that's. I mean, that's cool. I'm glad they're doing another Mud Runners, but not
glad somebody
not,
is.
Yeah, not the game I was looking for from them here, but here we are.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. The Space Marine 2 gameplay previews I've been seeing look great. Just like fuck tons of Tyranids on the screen at once. Yeah. No slowdown, no chugging, just rounds going downfield, knives stabbing into chitinous skulls, and your other Space Marine buddies running around with you.
Yeah, and then the co-op and whatnot, all that fucking looks really good too. Oh,
yeah,
wrong thing. But yeah, man, like I'm glad to see that like a game like that's coming together. I thought Stalker was gonna have a presence, but I don't think they ended up showing up. I shared something in the chat the other day that was saying that they were supposed to be there, but nothing. As far as I know, nothing was there. Tim, did you see anything?
No, it looks like they're gonna be at the Xbox Thursday show.
Oh, so tomorrow.
Yeah, so yeah, to be clear, when I keep saying I expected them to have a bigger presence, Gamescom is still going on, and Xbox said they're going to have a big presence at Gamescom. They did not previously commit to having a big presence at Opening Night Live, but that was my assumption. That was 100% my assumption, given that that's where most of the eyes are going to go. But yeah, they do have an event tomorrow. That's correct. And I assume Stalker will be there because it is an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am
Day one Game Pass, baby.
I hate that I'm about to say this. Absolutely hate it. But you gotta give credit where credit's due. This Cyberpunk trailer looks absolutely fucking wild, and I want it. Like, what
I don't know why you're like. I hate to give credit. I hate to say I like it
because the game was so bad on release that I don't know if you remember this.
Hold up, back it up. The game was so bad on.
It doesn't matter. It was still bad. It was still a bad experience for a lot of people.
It was for a lot of people. I didn't have nearly as many bugs as some of the people I've talked to. I was like, I'm shocked. I was running it on a 2600 and an RX 590, and I was doing it mostly over in-home streaming, and I was like, I'm kind of blessed to be able to play that game well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all had a pretty good time with it.
I put 50. I put 50 hours into it, and I ran into kind of like Justin. You're running into those Baldur's Gate bugs. I've run into no bugs in Baldur's Gate. Right, but I ran into a bunch of bugs in fucking Cyberpunk, and so and I do remember saying I will never recommend this game because it should have never released. Right, like it should not have released in that state. So I'm still not going to recommend it. I will still never recommend it. But
how can you not recommend it when it's become so much better?
I think that's a pretty strong stance to take. Like I didn't recommend No Man's Sky when it came out because it was buggy and broken and shallow and awful, and now, it didn't even take until now.
You can play it through Game Pass. Like
what? No Man's Sky? Yeah, sure. But like I still would recommend the game if somebody's like, "Hey, I'm thinking about buying No Man's Sky." I'd be like, "Absolutely do it. It's a great game."
It's
now.
also
has been
not
for a long time.
It's also not like a full price game either. Like this isn't a 1-to-1.
But there's a shitload of people that already bought Cyberpunk, and some of them may have refunded it, like a good chunk, but not as many as bought the game and then didn't play it because it was buggy. And so if somebody goes, "Oh, I think I might go back and try Cyberpunk now," be like, "Yeah, absolutely, go check it out," because the new update that's releasing alongside the expansion is revamping many systems. So many things are gonna be better. It looks sick.
I hesitate to give my money to people that are willing to do this when there are other people that are willing to release that we've seen, especially this year, fully featured, fully completed games. You know, like
so this is Witcher 4 was coming out. So, like, let's say they were doing a new Witcher game tomorrow. You're saying you wouldn't buy it?
I would probably wait. Unless there's always a chance the hype machine gets me, right? But they've ruined The Witcher on Netflix. They had not Cyberpunk, but the Witcher story got totally butchered on Netflix. No, it's not, but it still hurts the brand, right? Like There's no way around it. And then with like, I'm glad to see that they're fixing Cyberpunk. Like, that's cool and all, but to get it fixed, you have to buy DLC.
No, you don't. It's a free update.
No, is it free update?
It's a free update.
Why
the DLC is a hold up. The DLC is a campaign, the expansion that does cost money, but the system updates are a free update, and they've already fixed a lot of the bugs. Like, there's already, if you were to play it now,
I did log into it a couple months ago, and all my perk points were fucking crazy. But yeah, I don't know. They've
already revamped things several times, but like now it's like a full overhaul of so many core mechanics of the game.
Right.
That expansion is free, or that update is free. Like Justin was saying, it's just there's a new story expansion that is paid. So
yeah,
the update's free, the expansion's paid.
Yeah, so I just look at it this way: you're having games like Armored Core come out, Baldur's Gate, Remnant 2, like Zelda, you know what I mean? As much as I'm not one to like really push Zelda, these are fully feature completed games that, well, I think Zelda's going to give out a DLC. Baldur's Gate, they've already come out and said there's no DLC. Remnant 2 may or may not give out a DLC, right? But like, there's nothing's broken. Like, it's not broken. It's not basically an early access nonsense. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to go off the rails
here. Kind of feel that way about Baldur's Gate sometimes, but yeah.
Baldur's Gate was in early access for 3 years. So
right.
Here's what I'm going to say. If Cyberpunk would have launched when it launched and they would have just thrown an early access tag on it, I am so done with the AAA companies not doing this, because it can work. Baldur's Gate has shown that the early, like, there are so many games that have shown the early access model can work, and you're already doing it. Just call it what it is. If Cyberpunk would have been like, hey, we're sorry, we said when it's ready, this is what we have, this is when we have to put it out, then we're releasing into early access, we're a lot more forgiving of the game if they did that, right?
Well,
I think so. I know I am.
I'll do what I did with Baldur's Gate. I'll buy it, and then I'll wait. Because I'll know I will eventually want to play it, so I have the money, I'll buy it, and I'll just wait until it hits 1.0. That's what I did with Baldur's Gate, which is why I'm having a fantastic experience, because I knew what it was. It was no smoke and mirrors, right? Once again, I don't want to support that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I would rather go out. That
makes total sense.
Yeah, I would rather, like, at this point, like, let's say, because you got to think about it. We all enjoy Game Pass, right? I'm not even willing to buy Starfield full price. I'll just pay for the premium update. I'll pay the $30. I don't want to pay $70 for it. You know what I mean? I don't know. If I can get, I would rather just support games that are fully complete. And I'm really hoping that for Starfield. I'm hoping this doesn't bite me in the ass. But from everything they've shown so far, I'm hoping that this releases with the least amount of bugs possible. They've given it all this extra time. Like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And I think that's a bigger conversation we're seeing a lot right now is everyone's kind of looking to Baldur's Gate 3 and being like, hey, single player experience, no microtransactions, the full product, bam, I buy it, I play it, I like it.
Right.
That's what we want. Give us more of that. And I think that's fine. That's totally cool to say. But then you've got people who are like, yeah, look, they did it. Why can't everyone do that?
Yeah.
And I think when people say that, what they're not realizing is Larian Studios has been making these RPGs for decades.
Yeah.
So they have all this experience doing this style game. Plus, they partnered with Wizards of the Coast to use the most popular fucking fantasy IP on Earth. And they, doubled their studio size for this game. And they're not beholden to any publishers.
Right. Well, I think that last one's probably the strongest one. So they've come out and talked about how they paid for the right to use the IP kind of thing. It's not like they got money for that. You know what I mean? Like, the IP still draws, but I would say, like, if we're talking about things that draws people in and whatnot, Baldur's Gate isn't competing with Call of Duty. Like, it's just not. You know what I mean? If we're talking about big names and stuff like that, Baldur's Gate is a well-known franchise, but the last Baldur's Gate game to actually come out was, the early 2000s? You know
we're just going to pretend Dark Alliance didn't happen?
Yes.
I mean, that was.
You
want to know what? You are right.
Gospel.
Yeah,
I know. Everyone
you're
forgets.
right.
I literally was watching another video where somebody was like, "Yeah, the last entry in the Baldur's Gate franchise was in 2004, Dark Alliance 2." I was like, "No, are we just gonna pretend there wasn't a Dark Alliance game a year ago? It was god awful."
Yeah,
no,
we are.
Yeah, we are.
Tim, we are gonna pretend that the game never happened. Just like there's no Command and Conquer 4. Okay.
You motherfuckers are not going to Mandela affect me.
But I think the overall point is there, right? Like they paid for they paid for that. They were able to pay for that because of the success of their other games, right? So I do agree with your point. They have been making
a very very successful Kickstarter campaign.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, they have the experience and stuff, but like they baby stepped their way to Baldur's Gate. There's no reason why other studios can't emulate that, or at least attempt to. Tim's right. They did a Kickstarter campaign. Maybe a studio tries to do that, and the Kickstarter campaign isn't successful. But it's not just Baldur's Gate, right? One of the biggest games out there, Temtem, is it's a Kickstarter game. You know what I mean? Like, and that's one of the biggest. It's probably the best Pokemon clone out there, kind of thing. And they've really evolved on like that on a lot of those mechanics. And they've made it so they have seasons and all this other stuff or whatever. It's craziness. Not something I'm super interested in. But when you're talking about a monster capturing game or whatever, I mean, it started as a Kickstarter in like 2018. So like, there's options out there. And Temtem did the same thing. They went into early access. And I did the same thing. I backed them on Kickstarter, so I get the full game. They sent me my code. I put the code into Steam, booted it up once, was like, this looks cool. I'll wait. And I waited, and then I played it later. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why studios in general can't do this, especially smaller studios. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes going forward or whatever. But yeah, I just can't get behind. I hope people enjoy their time in Cyberpunk. I may or may not go back to Cyberpunk. There's so many good games out right now. I don't really have a reason to. You know what I mean? Like,
it'll be there.
Yeah, it'll always be there, kind of thing. So, but I mean that
the backlog only grows.
I mean, it's true. It's why this is why I keep saying that when I retire, I'm gonna make a YouTube channel, and it's just gonna be me going through my backlog. Like that's all it's gonna be. I'm just gonna be.
That's gonna be like a category on Twitch.
Yeah.
Retired backlog gamers.
Yeah, man.
Bro, you say you're gonna do what do you think our life in pixels can be? You can just do it there, play old games.
I could.
And they're all gonna be old by the time we're talking about.
Well, I mean, I can retire in 8 years. I'm talking about in 8 years. That's my plan as of right now. I have no other plan other than that. So, but yeah. Anyways, we got really sidetracked there, like super sidetracked.
Yeah, let's talk about some of these other Gamescom titles.
Yeah. So Cyberpunk looks great. Space Marine 2 looks great. Is there any ones that you guys want to shout out outside of Starfield?
Yes.
What you got, bud?
Crimson Desert. Y'all see this?
Okay. Say what you gotta say. I have
skeptical
thoughts.
by how much it was showing.
Dude, they showed so many fucking game mechanics, man. It was crazy. It was like they had Assassin's Creed shit. They had like mounted combat stuff. They had like Tears of the Kingdom islands up in the sky, gliding. Like really like cinematic duels. There's no way this game is real. Like, what the fuck?
So, I just want to throw out there, this is not the first time this game has been shown. I don't know if you remember, but a game that I'm very excited for to maybe someday fucking materialize is Doki V. And I remember when we, this was a while back now, but when we were kind of like making videos at a halfway decent pace or whatever outside of the weekly content that we do for this, I remember making a Doki V video and doing a small comparison on the other games that Pearl Abyss currently had in development, and Crimson Desert was one of them, and it looks fantastic. But I don't think I don't think any of these games are real that Pearl Abyss are making. They just show up, show a trailer, and then fall off the face of the fucking planet. Like, I don't know if they get,
dude.
yeah, I don't know if they just get ad revenue from fucking showing trailers, and that's what these people are living off of, or what. But like, there's literally
they made Black Desert, so Black Desert sales.
Oh,
that's true.
Through the roof.
Yeah, that's true.
Originally, Crimson Desert was going to be like a Black Desert sequel, and then they were like, "Nah, we want it to be single player and totally different."
Yeah. So, like, yeah, I don't know if they just have really small teams on these or what, and that's why it's taking forever. But Crimson Desert does look cool. It looks really fucking cool, which is why I don't think it's real. I'm right there with you.
That's understandable, because I mean, another thing I noticed is there's like no dialogue. We don't see any like game systems in action.
No.
It's just like everything
It's
very
just
pretty,
chopping.
very flashy.
Yeah.
But is there a actual game here?
No.
Or is this like a bunch of tech demo shit?
I want you know what, if you go into our Google Doc or like our Google Drive, that Doki V video I made is on there, and there's a small snippet of Crimson Desert in there if you would like to see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely check that out.
But that's why when I saw it showcased,
Is the Doki V video on the YouTube page?
no,
too?
we never uploaded it. It was literally the last thing. I don't remember why. I don't know if it was when I was transitioning from the fitness center to the UDM, and because I feel like that's when we stopped making content, is when I moved into that new job, and all of a sudden I'm deploying people, and I just never had time to literally do anything. But yeah, man, like fucking yeah, it's in the Google Drive. It's there. So
yeah.
But hopefully, you know what? It looks cool. So hopefully it comes out, like, because there's another game that they have called like Phantom. It's like Phantom 8 or something. I also preview it in that video, and yeah, it's like, it's crazy. Everything's on fucking fire and shit. I was like, what in the hell? Like, it just, the contrast in between Doki V, which is like this upbeat little fucking monster catcher, is just wild. Anyways, but yeah, Crimson Desert, man. I hope it's real. We'll see. Maybe in the next 5 years we'll see it. It probably comes out after Avowed. So, any other games?
Tim, did anything strike you that we haven't mentioned?
So the promo they did for Killing Floor 3, I thought, just based on the way that they were like putting that undead thing back together with machine parts, I was like, is this Quake?
Yeah.
And then it wasn't Quake, and I was like,
I thought it was Quake too.
Excitement zero.
Oh,
I could not
so
be less excited for another Killing Floor game. I really enjoyed the first Killing Floor, and then I remember buying the second one and playing it like twice, and I was like, nah, I'm good. So yeah, I was also
that was one I bought because Holmes told me to.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I bought that. I think I played it with my cousins, but I bought Killing Floor 1 and I really enjoyed it. Did not get Killing Floor 2 though. It's just too simplistic, I guess. It's basically just a horde shooter, right? Like, that's all it is.
I mean, got its own like little idiosyncrasies and like themes and shit, but yeah. The more exciting game that is the number 3 in its series that was there, they showed a little Payday 3. Big fan of Payday. I love Payday. I think Payday's really cool. So
can we talk about Ice Cube for a second? Because that was fucking weird. Or Ice-T? Was it Ice-T? It was Ice-T. Would have made more sense if it was Ice Cube.
I need more ice cubes in my drink. It's hot.
Yeah, they had him like narrating this mission.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. It's like some special.
He literally before they showed the mission off, they had him introduce it, and he was like, "Because you guys know I know a lot about heists," and I was like, "Do you though?"
Are you trying to tell us something?
In that many heist movies?
Oh man. Have you? Okay.
Yeah, that was weird. That was their like. Jeff's like, we need somebody famous.
Yeah, I mean that's probably was part of it. You know who they should have got?
Yeah, I'm not sure what was weirder, that or the whole Zack Snyder thing.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, didn't they do a random movie preview?
Yeah, because there's going to be like a video game based on the movies or something.
Oh yeah, but the video game
Rebel Moon.
Yeah, the video game developer's only done gacha games, like mobile gacha games or whatever. So, from what I think that's what Mr. Matty Plays was talking about in his recap video. Um, yeah, no. You, Justin, you definitely won't understand this reference. Tim, you may understand this reference. Did you guys hear about the Kansas City Chiefs superfan that is currently going to jail for robbing banks?
No.
Yeah, so this dude used to show up. So the Chiefs like mascot is a wolf. It's called the KC Wolf. This dude would show up to the games dressed as a wolf. He was taking his same outfit and running around and robbing banks.
What?
Yeah, dude. It gets wilder. All right, I have to talk about this because we're talking about payday, right? Yeah, he would show up and rob banks, and then he got caught for it, posted bail, right? Was on like a house arrest, that whole anklet and whatnot. Man, this motherfucker cut his anklet off and was on the run for like a month and a half or something, and kept robbing more banks.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude, it's like he's addicted to it. So it's this weird thing. Look up if you feel like it. Look up the story about Chief. He's called Chiefsaholic. That's his Twitter handle, bro. I
wonder if that'll be one of the headgears you can get in Payday 3.
It should be. That would be so funny. Oh my god, that would be
you
great.
Make your own.
I did watch. I don't know if you guys heard about it. There was a beta that came out for Payday 3.
Yeah, I signed up for it, but I haven't been let in.
I don't know if it's still going, but I did watch. I watch a guy named Operator Drewski. He does a lot of stalker content and stuff like that. A lot of milsim stuff in general, Arma and all this other stuff. But he jumped in there and he was playing with his buddies. And honestly, it looked like a lot of fun, especially for a game that's not a $70 game. I think it's coming out at like $40 or $50 kind of thing. So I think it could be like, it looks like a good evolution on Payday 2. I only played Payday 1. I didn't dabble at all in Payday 2, but just from what I understand about Payday 2, it looks like a good evolution and just it looks like a good time. I was watching these three play together and they're like, oh, you got the guard coming. He's coming around the corner. They're having a good time. So yeah.
The tension in those games is super fun because it really I think it really lets you play it as a stealth game, which a lot of co-op games like the stealth scenario, but you end up just shooting everyone, which is an option in Payday, but you can really go in and like I had a lot of times in Payday 2 where it was like we'd do a mission, we'd be like, all right, we need to bring less gear so we're like less noticeable. And so we'd be like going in with just like our suits and like a pistol maybe, and just try to like smooth talk people and just like use our brains to like steal the paintings and have no one see us. And it was very satisfying, just like when everything went right.
Right. Yeah. That game does feel like one of those games. I think that's a game I would like to see speedrunners play together. Like, see how fast they can do a heist for some of these things. You know what I mean? Like, I think that'd be a really interesting category. But yeah,
I keep thinking of other like co-op games like that, like Darktide, and I'm just like, Darktide missions are so fucking boring in comparison. But I mean, that's not what they're going for. I get it. You're just like cutting through these people and seeing their chunks go everywhere, and that's the fun of those games.
Yeah.
Tim, was that you chiming in? You were going a little robot.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo.
Oh, big robot time.
You there, bud? He just sounds like he's screaming in terror.
You're still a robot.
Yeah, you are a little bit.
Great, so buddy. Yeah, but I think that's most of the titles that we wanted to mention.
Yeah. Did we want to talk about this fucking stupid PlayStation controller before we get off?
Oh yes, the PlayStation Portal.
Yeah, man. All right, so I got this article up.
Am I still roboting?
No, you were not roboting now. Is there a comment you wanted to make before we talked about the PlayStation Portal?
Good. Yeah. Before we get into the PlayStation portable piece of shit, we can't. Darktide's getting a systems overhaul for its RPG mechanics, and it actually looks like it's supposed to be pretty substantial. So I don't know when that's releasing, but just you mentioned Darktide, and I was like, oh yeah, that's going to be a thing. We should mention that. That's something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are waiting on that, actually, because I know they basically came out and were like, because I'm gonna be honest, I had fun with Darktide, but there was like the problem with like, what the fuck? Oh, he's switching to his computer.
Oh god.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The problem with Darktide is there was never a reason to come back, right? Like if you weren't playing with other people, there wasn't really a reason to keep playing. So that was the kind of like the disappointing part, because I liked the shooting and stuff, right? You know what game that reminds me of? Fucking Halo. Yes. Shooting's great. It could be a good time.
There's nothing else. Yeah,
I have no reason to come back now that I've beaten the campaign. But anyways, yeah. I'm excited for the Darktide overhaul whenever that comes out. So, but yeah, so we're looking at the PlayStation Portable.
So yeah, what is this exactly? This is where it's not exactly a Steam Deck, right? But it's like a controller split in half with a screen in between the halves of the controller.
Yes, it is the dumbest thing. Like they already have the backbone, right? So like the only real advantage of this thing is,
what's the backbone? The
backbone is like the controller that can just plug into your phone, and it looks like a PlayStation controller.
Razer Kishi, but from a different company. Also, there's an Xbox version of the backbone as well.
Yeah. So, but basically, you could just plug it into your phone, and it works, right? And it straps to the side of your phone, and you can play it that way. It's basically.
Can you do that with PlayStation games?
You
can do cloud streaming with the backbone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I've done cloud streaming from my PlayStation. Actually, from my PlayStation, when I played Days Gone, I did. Sometimes I would let my wife use the TV, and I would stream Days Gone from my PS4 to my PC, and it was okay. Like it was enough for me to like get around and shit. But a horde showed up.
Their in-home streaming works fine with phones and computers, and with the backbone, you have the advantage of doing cloud streaming over your cell phone connection if it's good enough, just like you can with like Xbox Game Pass through the PlayStation app. So that's pretty nifty.
Yeah. So the advantage of getting the backbone or getting the Portal over the backbone, right, is it's an 8-inch screen compared to your normal phone screen, right? So it's kind of like having a small tablet. And it also has all the same haptic feedback that you would get from the normal PlayStation 5 controller, right? So it's literally like having a PlayStation 5 controller with a screen just thrown in the middle. So those are like the advantages. But that I kind of feel like that's where they end, and why wouldn't you just play your fucking PlayStation on a bigger TV generally? Because so it's $200 to start with, which is like that's pretty hefty for.
It's the same as their Pro controller.
I mean, it is. I just feel like it's really hefty for something that you can't even take out of the house. You know what I mean? Like, at least if you're doing like Game Pass and stuff like that, and you throw a backbone on that thing, like Tim said, if your cell phone connection is good enough, right? You can still play it. You can still play games on it.
You can do that with the Portal too. You just have to have your PlayStation to the internet.
The Portal, I think, is Wi-Fi only.
It's Wi-Fi only, and the way that they have been phrasing things, they've made it sound like it may be intranet only. You may only be able to use it on the same connection as your PS5, not on a different Wi-Fi connection. Now, that is pure speculation based on the way they've been phrasing things, because they talk about if someone else is using the TV, you can do this. They don't talk about, like, if you're on the go and have a Wi-Fi connection, you can connect to your PS5 at home, which, by the way, you can do with a backbone and a phone. And the other thing that I noticed, the reason I kept bringing up cloud streaming, the Portal doesn't do cloud streaming. It will only do streaming remote play from your PS5. You can't connect to the cloud servers and play things separate from that. So You have more advantages, honestly, more other than the haptic feedback, the DualSense feedback, which is built into the controller. You can do more things with a backbone in a PS5 than you can with the Portal in a PS5, and that doesn't cost you an extra $200, just what your phone already cost you.
Yeah. And then also I'm on the actual PlayStation blog. It has on here that this requires broadband internet Wi-Fi with at least 5 megabytes for use. For a better play experience, a high-speed connection of at least 15 megabytes is recommended. So, which most people, a lot of people probably have that, right, at this point. But that just reinforces the point. You can't even take it it's not even like an on the go. It's literally like, I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima and I need to take a shit. So I'm going to take this with me so I can continue to play Ghost of Tsushima while I take a shit. That's basically what it is.
To be clear, with remote play, you can play from somewhere other than your home, right?
No.
You can't?
No.
Okay. I don't know why this IGN article is saying that you can.
You can on the phone, but what they're saying is the way that PlayStation is wording it, it's not running through like the same app as you are on phone. And this thing's not running Android. It's running its own custom operating system that PlayStation made specifically to run on the Portal. And they have not clarified whether or not it is I'm in a hotel with decent Wi-Fi, I can connect to my PS5 at home and play, or if it needs to be on the same in-house network, because there are some devices that do that. PlayStation has made it very much sound like that's not a thing. They haven't said anything about playing it elsewhere on a high-speed Wi-Fi connection. They're just like, in your house, on the couch, in your bed. All these other places, they talk about it in your home. They don't talk about it anywhere else, and that's kind of where all the speculation is coming from. But until Sony comments on it, it is just speculation.
Yeah, it does say on here that, it says on here, so you'll be able to swiftly jump from playing on your PS5 to your PlayStation Portal. PlayStation Portal can play supported games that are installed on your PS5 console and use the DualSense controller. It also includes a 3.5 millimeter audio jack for wired audio, PlayStation VR2 games which require the headset, and games that are streamed through PlayStation Plus Premium's cloud streaming are not supported. So
what a stupid device.
Yeah, like it does, especially at $200, and then from what I understand, from what I heard, is that you can audio jack in, which is nice. I didn't know that. But from what I understand, you can't use anything Bluetooth related outside of their ecosystem. So they have
their own new audio technology coming out, and they're dropping Bluetooth support. So the other speculation there is that they'll also have what is it called, PlayStation Link. They'll also have Link on whatever the PlayStation revision, the Pro, Slim, whatever they do at the end of this year.
PlayStation Link.
Yeah, so like this device won't support Bluetooth, so you can't use your Bluetooth headset.
Yeah.
And I don't even think, I could be wrong, but I think if you have their Pulse 3D headset right now, it won't be supported. You'll have to buy their new Pulse 3D Elite.
Yeah.
Which is just stupid, man.
Yeah, it is. I don't understand the point of the product, really. Outside of, I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, I don't want to stop while I take a shit, or like when I'm going to bed, or while I'm cooking.
From a consumer standpoint, I don't think there really is one. I don't see a good reason to buy this over a different device because, like I said, you can already accomplish what it accomplishes with your phone and then some. Yeah. I can remote play on my PS5 on my Steam Deck or my PC or my laptop or my phone. Like, I don't need this in my hands. I can use the DualSense features, the DualSense feedback, remote playing on my PC or my Steam Deck to my damn PS5. Like, that works over Chiaki or over the PlayStation app that I have on my PC. But from Sony's perspective, they're trying to build a
ecosystem,
hardware ecosystem, kind of like you see with Apple devices, where everything works together and everything talks together, and it doesn't work with other stuff, which is the dumbest thing ever. Because if this was an Android device, with PlayStation DualSense controllers on the outside and you could customize it, bro, it would be so much better than so many other things out there. Like if this did even, if I could like play my Game Pass games with it, or I could do whatever with it, I could use it for my subscription services, or I could emulate a Game Boy on it. Like that would be sick. That would be a really cool device, and there are already a lot of devices that you can do that with, but this just isn't one of them. Honestly, I'm looking at this going like, why would I buy this over, let's say I were to get a Retroid Pocket 3, which is an Android device, and I just use Remote Play on that device because it has the Google Play Store. Why would I buy this over that? It's cheaper. The Pocket 3 is cheaper, and I can emulate games on it. This is just like,
yeah.
There are Tim, so many think of how hard it would be for someone to simply download an app. That's too much work.
Oh my God, that's you're right. You're so right. And then Sony doesn't get any of my money if I do that. You're so right. Oh my God, they really need this. You're right, guys. It makes so much sense.
I here's the thing. I do agree that Sony makes really good products. I just kind of feel like with this product in particular, that they are using the goodwill of their like customers to buy a shitty product to just give them another $200. And I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, this feels like PlayStation being like, oh, you like how that person can pick up their Switch off of their dock and sit on their couch and play that when someone else wants to watch TV? We've got you covered.
Yeah. Like,
but shittier.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know if you can really be shittier than the Switch right now, but I mean, I don't know.
Because at least you can play other things on your Switch.
I mean, that's true. And I can take my Switch. I can deploy with the fucking Switch.
You can
I've
go
done
somewhere,
it.
Yeah.
I've literally done it. I've bought a Switch Lite and I just fucking took that shit overseas. I've had a whole like an actual Switch overseas on a deployment. Can't do that with this. And they're honestly, what are they, price comparable at this point? Well, how much is a Switch? Like a normal Switch, not an OLED. Was it $250?
Something like that.
Or am I thinking of the Switch Lite?
So the OLED's $350. The base model is $300, and that hasn't changed unless you catch them on sale. That's the regular pricing, and the Switch Lite is $200. So this is the same price as a Switch Lite, which runs games natively. Yeah. The difference is you can't do any remote play on your Switch Lite.
No, you can't. I don't know, but you can play Zelda, which I feel like that's
I would
for
argue
like 90% of people.
I would much rather have a Switch Lite and a PS5 than a PS5 and this controller. Like it just
easily.
At $200, no thank you. If it was like $100, maybe. But right now, instead of this, I'm buying. Yeah, instead of this, one of the perfect devices that I was talking about. Yeah, it's more expensive. But one of the things that is a perfect alternative to this is the Logitech G Cloud. Because no, it doesn't emulate games well, but you can play Game Boy and SNES games and Sega games on it, and you can remote play any device you want and still accomplish what this does. You just lose the DualSense feedback. Oh well.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I feel like we've shit on this enough.
Yes.
And it is 20 minutes over, and I really have to pee. So, closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. I really hope that the first major patch for Baldur's Gate 3 will make me less mad to play the game.
What you got, Tim?
Over the next month, it's going to be impossible for me to do anything but play video games, work, or do the podcast because Armored Core, Baldur's Gate already, then Armored Core, then Starfield, then Cyberpunk expansion, and Mortal Kombat, and then after that, we get into October, and October's not any better. I can't believe I'm saying this, I actually want to buy Lords of the Fallen. The first one was terrible. Good. The trailer for this one was god awful with that stupid 60s rock music soundtrack that they did. But the gameplay trailers that I've seen since have helped me turn the corner, and I'm actually looking at it going like, okay, this has a lot of potential, and I'm into it. So
you know what I
we'll
thought
see.
when I saw that new trailer was the aesthetic makes me feel like if Todd McFarlane designed a Souls game.
I like the way you think. I think Cody immediately thought of Seth MacFarlane and not Todd McFarlane.
I did.
I don't think Cody knows who Todd McFarlane is. I 100% see where you're going.
But I know who Seth. Okay, that makes way more sense. I was like Todd McFarlane. I was like,
Souls game.
Yeah.
It's over here going.
All I'm thinking of is Peter against that fucking chicken. That's what I'm thinking of. Anyways,
you are Lois.
My closing thought is, Tim, do not buy Lords of the Fallen. You have enough fucking games to play.
I'm not gonna buy it right away. I'm not gonna buy it right away. I'm gonna. It's gonna get added probably come the winter sale though, and there's a lot of games coming out in October that I oh my god!
Collection.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm happy that this has been a fantastic year for video games.
It's taken the last 2 years were like, oh, this year's gonna be great for gaming. Oh, this year's gonna be great for gaming, and there were certainly great games, but I wouldn't call those years great years for games. There were a few really high points, and then the rest of it was meh.
Yeah.
And then this year has just been like
bangers.
There's a lot of good stuff
all year. It's great.
There's not enough time, so I'm happy that I'm going after Starfield comes out. I have no more games that I'm looking to buy for the rest of the year. I still haven't beat Remnant. I haven't beat Baldur's Gate 100%. I am good. So
content.
Yeah, I do not plan on, as of right now, because something may pop up that I'm like, oh, that looks nice. But it'll probably be like a cheapo, like $15 game. But anyways, that's it for us. We hope that the rest of Gamescom goes really well. And hopefully we see some Stalker 2 tomorrow. Because I really want to fucking see it. Because I know they've been working their asses off while potentially being shot at. And I know how that feels. So it's not a good feeling. So I'm excited to see their shit. And other than that, we love you. We'll be back next Wednesday at 10 Central, like normal, or at least ish, right around there.
Yeah,
ish. Couple minutes before, a couple minutes after.
There ish.
But yeah, we'll see you next week. All right, we love you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.